Everybody doing tonight? It is August 21st, Thursday evening, 7 o'clock. Welcome to the Jezebelle Trinity, episode number 4. Tonight is going to be, well, let's see. For the last couple nights, we've been sharing about how to change your mindset. First day was becoming aware of yourself and cutting out all the distractions. You know, like I said, what I had to do, or what I ended up doing, not by choice, was I didn't have a cell phone for a year, and I made it work. You know, if I was around my kids, and if somebody needed to really get a hold of me, they could get a hold of one of my kids to get a hold of me if it was that important. And it was kind of weird. I recall looking around, you know, because I didn't have a cell phone, but it seemed like everybody would be looking at their cell phone. It looked like a remote control controlling everybody. You know, everybody's looking at their cell phone constantly. It was kind of freaky, actually. So I disconnected to reconnect to myself and become more aware of my thoughts, my feelings and emotions, my body, listening to my body, and feeding my spirit, nurturing my spirit. So since I shared a little bit about that, you ask, how do you nurture your spirit? How do you reconnect to your spirit? Well, that would be things like you can meditate. There's a video, or there was a Facebook meme that I saw, and I should have brought it on. I'm just trying to learn how to, you know, figure out how to bring things on, and it would have been great to do that. Yeah, about let's see, about quiet time and peace and quiet for 30 to 60 minutes, and with no noise, no coffee, no cigarette, and just clearing your thoughts. Here it is. Let me see here.
How do you
Okay, actually, I'm gonna try this out just because. Okay, check this out.
activate the superconscious mind? Here is the most powerful of all. We call this the master method of activation. It is called solitude. You activate the superconscious mind with solitude. Now, how do you use solitude? We call this go into the silence. Go and sit down quietly by yourself for 30 to 60 minutes. 30 to 60 minutes. Most people in our society have never sat for 30 to 60 minutes in their entire lives. Yet I will tell you this method works 100% of the time. That any problem that you have, any difficulty, any challenge, any goal that you want to accomplish, if you'll go into the silence and sit quietly and then listen to the still small voice within, this is the key. You will find that at a certain point, probably at about 25 to 30 minutes, your mind will go completely clear. And then a flow of ideas will start to flow into your mind. You'll feel energy welling up inside you. And at a precise moment, as you sit there in complete silence, no cigarettes, no coffee, no music, nothing, just complete silence, at a particular moment, your mind will go clear, and wham, exactly the answer you need will come at exactly the right time. And if you will get up and go and carry out that answer, it will turn out to be exactly perfect. How do you activate the superconscious mind?
So,
here is the
what do you guys think about that? That just like hits it nail on the head. You know, I remember when I first started meditating, I don't know what, I was just kind of guided to start doing it to relax, to calm my anxiety down. And, you know, I kind of felt weird, felt self-conscious, like somebody was going to watch me and think I was weird. And so I sat there with my legs crossed and my hands up in the meditation pose, close my eyes, and I remember I could not sit still for five minutes when I first started, and it was so hard. But I kept trying and longer, practice. And it's funny that he says that because after you're meditating after a while and you have all these thoughts and you're concentrating on your breathing, your breath, um it helps clear all those thoughts out of the way. Okay, here is Wildcat. Hold up 1 second. I'm gonna put you on hold. Well, bonjour, Niji. I'm doing good. I'm gonna put you are on the air tonight. You have won free tickets to the Adams County Fair.
Where's Adams County?
You'll have to come and get them though tonight by 6:00 p.m.
By 6 p.m. Can I give them to somebody, please? Somebody that's a little closer.
It's actually free to get into the Adams County Fair.
Oh, nice.
I'll just write to sent
I
by.
seen your display.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
What do you mean my display?
The display for the Adams County Fair.
Oh.
The booth or whatever.
Awesome. Yep. I took some pictures today while we were setting it up.
Nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing that.
And it's the historical part.
Yep. The historical society, kind of like the like it would be, I'm trying to think, like the committee, the cultural committee kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Kind of like that.
The history keepers where they are.
Yep. Yep.
Nice. We all need to keep history.
Yes. So, I did have a question. I was kind of thinking if I just wanted to ask you about, I don't know, like how's your decompression going, if you don't mind me asking, because
Right now, it's funny you say that. I was just thinking about that. I almost backed out because I'm having a rough time right now. It was a very stressful, high anxiety day, and I haven't been stressed that way in a long time because I had to go out into public and I had to try to fill out paperwork and I had to deal with people. So those are two of my biggest stressors are paperwork and people. And it's just been difficult to decompress. So right now I'm actually sitting outside trying to get some fresh air and look at the sun and smudge, of course.
Oh, that's a good idea. I think I will do that this evening.
And I called into the show in hopes that it might help me decompress a little bit by talking.
Well, and then I wanted, ask you how that was going, but then I wanted to ask, or kind of what you've been going through that you're just decompressing. I mean, like,
how much time we got?
We got as much time as you need.
How much time we got?
Because I mean, I know, like.
Well, I can kind of go through like the last week. The last week has been just extra busy. I'm used to staying busy enough to keep myself occupied, but not overwhelming myself. So this last week has been a kind of I've had to push myself to do these things, and one of them I lost a close relative last week, and so wanted to be there what I could for my family, and of course, anytime you get families together on the res, it's a little stressy
Yeah.
for no matter what purpose it is. But we made it through, and it was a good thing we did for our relative, and then it was kind of mixed emotions because the day that the accident happened was the day my son and I got our place after like probably 6 years of bouncing around and living on the streets and being homeless.
6 years. How long?
Yeah.
How long ago did you stay in the women's shelter?
It
When was that?
was a year and a half ago when I was abruptly kicked out. And that also something that I'm having a difficult time dealing with is that there's been numerous women kicked out of this domestic abuse shelter um, for numerous excuses. I'm not going to say reasons because none of them are valid reasons. People go there for help, and I've noticed people with psychological problems that get kicked out instead of trying to find them help or help them through these things. It's easier to kick them out the door than to deal with it, like it says in their job description. And my cousin was one of those people who had gotten kicked out, and she was trying her hardest this last time I want to say was the first time she's been sober that long on her own in a long time. And I think she really, really like wanted it this time.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole it wasn't just domestic abuse that I feel that if she wasn't kicked out and she was helped in a way she needed to be helped, that she wouldn't have been in that very place that she was at that day. That's just my feeling.
Oh, I didn't know she was kicked out.
Kicked out or left. I'm pretty sure I was told she was kicked out, but if it was a leaving situation, I could understand that as well because it's not a very welcoming, healthy, healing environment. It's a place that's designed for specific, basically for women and children. They have accepted men, I think, through the change of culture kind of thing. But all in all, if someone goes there and they have mental health issues, it's that program's job to try to help them find mental health help. And we're dealing with addicts and people who can't, um, whose minds either are chemically imbalanced or have some kind of psychosis about them. And that's what these people are there for, is to figure these things out, and instead of kicking them out the door so they have less of a client load to deal with rather than hit the problem head on. And that's where I believe that our tribe is falling short on healing, is that other communities are addressing the mental health and other communities aren't pushing their tribal members away, and other communities are embracing their people who are trying to heal, and they're giving them things to do, like to help other people coming behind them that are trying to heal. So they're utilizing their addict for recovery coaches and AODA support and things like that. And if our children are going to have any kind of a future, then we need to catch up with these things and start really paying attention instead of just saying it and not being present for it.
Making a pretty book cover.
Yeah, because the reality of it is that we're repeating the cycle. So these children that we're bringing up now, or that are raising themselves basically in our community, are are suffering the early onset of that trauma, of that grief. How many, not just people, but we think of people with grief in our community, that can be considered a mental illness because it's debilitating. Grief can be debilitating. And we think about ourselves when we lose our relatives, but we forget about those children and their hurt and their pain. So now we're already introducing them to that repetitive cycle of not healing. And eventually they're going to find things to make themselves numb, and they're smart. They're paying close attention, and they see how adults are healing themselves nowadays, or I shouldn't say healing themselves. Let me take that back. I apologize. That was not what I meant to say. But they see how adults are dealing with their pain in a negative way, and it's just not a good thing, because I see young kids that they're getting younger and younger. And a couple of weeks ago, I was at a friend's house, and these two young girls, couldn't have been more than 12, 13 years old, came up to the house looking for, it was the wrong house, by the way. The other house they were looking for, the person belonged to the house across the road. And they were looking for this person, and this guy is 40, about late 30s, early 40s years old, and these girls are looking for him on a Friday night. And it was quite apparent what they were looking for. And this person is well known for taking people's money to go get alcohol and not coming back with it. So for once, I was kind of glad he did that.
So,
Because then those girls didn't get their alcohol for the night.
so what, back to, like, people are getting kicked out of the women's shelter and not, continuing the cycle, and our kids are following in that cycle because, they do, that's just like us. We learned what we saw, what was passed on to us.
Yep.
And, I,
And that,
oh, go ahead, sorry.
that's the other thing, is there's children in the shelter who witness this behavior from staff. Now, if they see staff acting that way, what are these kids gonna think? Oh, that's okay, look at, they can treat people like that. They can yell and scream and swear in the shelter. Why can't I? So now, if the staff's doing it, how are you gonna correct the children and the people who are coming in that don't know that behavior is inappropriate? Because that's the whole thing, is that we've learned to live. Basically, we're in survival mode, and in order to learn to live again, we have to reteach each other, because not everybody's been taught how to live. Or some people enter adulthood not knowing daily living skills.
Exactly. And when I worked there briefly before I resigned, they were just starting to accept people with mental health issues, like emotional abuse, verbal abuse, and that's like, it brings up the issue of what you're saying, that's dual diagnosis.
Let me let me let me add to like what you were just saying about the fact of the matter is they've always accepted people with these things, because part of domestic violence is the mental and psychological abuse that goes with it. The using, the drinking, the stuff like that that people can't help, anxiety, PTSD, things like that that come with it. And the people, the staff who originally started that place, Martha Havikin, um,
Rest
she,
in peace. Wonderful
she,
lady.
yeah, she gave up her home to people, to strangers. She gave up, these things to strangers and stuff. And eventually, we wound up with what we have now today as domestic abuse. And I think that that lady would just cry a river of tears knowing what that shelter has turned into. So when people say, that they've tried, and I can really empathize with them on when they say that they have tried, and I believe their stories. I used to be very judgmental, but my situation in the last, I want to say within the last 2 years, has really opened my eyes to the reality of that not everybody's good, but it doesn't mean that we ourselves shouldn't stop being good and not help other people.
Exactly. And that just comes all down to we're all going through something, and hurt people are hurting people, and that's just showing who's hurt and unhealed.
Very much so. And I mean, it's the system that we have here, starting all the way from the top of our Constitution, it does not work for our people, and it's proven itself. I mean, what do we got to do? Gather up everybody who's addicted, alcoholism, mental health, mental health. They need help with their mental health, or some kind of depression, suicide, whatever it may be. Let's get all these people together and stand them in front of everybody and say, this is what this system is doing for us. Our Constitution does not work for us. And I'm not slamming anybody's beliefs or anybody's culture, but this is a Native American, this is a tribe. This is an indigenous tribe. Why on the second line and the fourth word in do we have God? Like, in God. Obviously that was not written by our people. Yeah, we may have adopted it, but do you think that it was a choice? What other choice did we have? Adopt this Constitution, or we're taking everything? Those were our choices.
And
And
now,
now today we're being given basically the same choices. If you don't listen to us or you don't do what we want, we're gonna act like bullies and take everything you have,
step up.
including your eligibility for these programs.
And there's it's what do they say, leading a leader, and then a position or power, positions being viewed as power instead of leaders.
Well, leaders should be leading through kindness,
By example.
fairness, compassion, understanding, the willingness to learn, listen to both sides. I see a lot of things very one-sided, and people don't ask the other half of what happened. They just run with what they were first told. So these people running to hell right away, they think because they spoke first that it's right, and that's what it is. And you can lie to people, but you can't lie to the money dude.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I did see what was going on back there, and that's why I had to walk away, because I wasn't.
Because what can you do? There's people who are stuck in their jobs that can't speak up because of the tyranny that runs all the way to the top, and I'll say it out loud, you know, and I'll be the first to say it, is that our chairman is not a very respectful person in my book. If he has to be threatening and demanding and telling stories in front of large crowds of how he kicked somebody's ass one time, you know, that's like threatening and scaring, trying to scare people into, you know, like listen to me or do what I say kind of stuff. And to me, that just has no place here. We were never a people of violence unless it was defending our family or our home.
And what's scary too is they're not looking into it. You know, it's like they're just totally ignoring the program that's going on back there when it's supposed to be helping women and children and families. And
Well, when that happened to me a year and a half ago, I went in front of the executive council with a complaint about an inch thick, and I had asked for an investigation into that.
and nothing
And
and nothing.
and nothing. But
Yep. And it's sad because it's, I don't know, it's just not, it's hurting, not more than, you know, it's hurting, it's not helping people.
yep,
But well, my friend, what do you think?
good one.
That was a good one.
Just wanna, you know, like the way I see it is that until we start speaking up as people, nothing's gonna change. And the only way we're gonna be spoken up and listened to is if we all start getting healthy and start getting better, because sick people are easy to control. So if you're using, or you know, you're stuck in some kind of negative repetitive cycle, there's people that they look for that, and they wanna, they paint the picture like they're helping, when in reality they're keeping you there, because if you get healthy, you're gonna start asking questions, and you're gonna start seeing things that aren't right, and they don't want that. They don't want those doors opened, and they don't want those shades open, because you're gonna start uncovering things that they've been trying to cover up for a long time. So don't let them scare you,
Yes,
because the reality of it is that they're scared. They're scared of what's gonna come out. They're scared of what's gonna be found out. They're scared of what's gonna be seen. So eventually, those things will come about. They will come to light, and
for sure, definitely. You know, you can't.
like I said, I pray for people every day to get healthy, you know, and get healthy and take care of yourself, so
Yep,
we can kind of, the light can start drowning out the darkness in this world.
for real. Oh my God, yes. Yep.
So, alrighty, everybody, giggle wobble man.
Giga Wobble Man, Miigwitch girl, hey, you keep your head up and don't worry, Miigwitch, for speaking the truth with me tonight. I appreciate you and I love you so much. Got
I
you,
love you as
and I
well.
got your back, girl.
I got you.
All
Love
right,
you.
love you too. I'll talk to you later. Giga Wobble Man.
Love me.
Alrighty, guys. Appreciate you sitting in on our little talk. We're putting it out there, talking about, you know, things that have been hidden, bringing the truth out there, our feelings, the things we've gone through, what we're going through, what we've been through, and how to take care of yourself, love yourself, and oof, yeah. So I'm grateful to be here tonight. I'm grateful to be in Adams County, and helping with the Historical Society. Just check out the fair, check out the Historical Society's table display and all the other displays. It looks like an awesome fair. And take care of your spirit, feed your spirit, be aware of your thoughts, your mind, and change your mindset if you don't like it. Take some quiet time, think about it, feel those emotions, listen to what your body's telling you. You know, it's all about you. And as long as you can control you, that's all you need. And love. Learn to love yourself. All right, you guys, have a good night. Love you. Miigwech for walking with me. Peace, love, 100% respect. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night. See what happens tomorrow. All right. Have a good night.